Hello, welcome to Let's Talk. I'm your host, Will Reeser. Today we are going to be doing a book review. What? Yes, a book review. Uh, and also, while we're doing a book review, I'm also going to teach you how to make an old fashioned. It's my favorite cocktail drink. Today we're going to be covering William H. McRaven's Sea Stories, My Life in Special Operations. For those of you who don't know who William H. McRaven is, check him out on YouTube. He's got a speech from 2014 that he delivers to the University of Texas, and it's well known as being the Make Your Bed speech. I listen to this speech every morning on my way to work, and it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because I discovered this about 3 years ago. So for 3 years now, I've been listening to the same speech. It's about 19, 20 minutes long. So it is definitely worth 19 or 20 minutes of your life. I don't recommend you do it every day. It's just me. But what I am going to do is I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about the book while I make the bourbon. So first thing I want to do, I'm going to start with the sugar cube. So you start putting the sugar cube in, drop the sugar cube in. I'm going to let it sit there for a second. Go ahead and drop the bitters in. I use hella bitters, by the way. Some people use Angostura. I drop that in. I'm gonna let the sugar absorb some of that, and then we'll crush it up here in a second. But anyways, he starts off from humble beginnings. His dad was a ex-pilot when he was growing up. He mentions how he would listen to old stories that his dad's friends would tell, and he always considered them the great generation. And he also talked about some of the adventures and missions that him and his friends went on that were not exactly so safe, and could have got them in some big trouble. So it starts off really good. I'm not going to, like I said, I don't really want to cover too much about what's inside the book, but there are a couple chapters that I do want to mention to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and crush this up real quick, okay? Okay, after you crush the sugar up, you want to drop about 2 tablespoons of club soda in there. So drip, drip, all right. One of my favorite parts of the book is actually the chapter known as The Ghosts of Tofino. Back in 1948, I believe, a plane had crashed into the side of the volcano, and because of I guess the snow and the weather conditions and everything up there, they were never able to recover it. They believed that they had found certain things that they believed to be part of the wreckage, but there was one of the brothers of one of the people involved in the plane crash was never exactly sold on the fact that they made a full recovery. So in 1987 or 88, I believe, something like that. I could be completely wrong on the dates. But William H. McRaven and a crew of guys went up there, and to hear him tell the story of it and just the experience of that, it was kind of chilling a little bit. Another good thing is, if you don't want to buy a book, you don't have time to read, or whatever, download the Audible. I guarantee you, this book is worth your time, whether it's riding back and forth to work, just listening to a chapter here and there. It is definitely worth your time. And actually, I love the Audible version. Of all the books that I listen to on Audible, that one's actually my favorite because it's actually narrated by him. So he's telling you what he wrote and what he felt and what he experienced, and you can hear the heart and the experiences in his dialogue. So it's just a really all around good book to check out. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop a cherry in. Now this is something that's not all bartenders do, but I was at a bar one time, and this one bartender, that was the difference that he did that others don't. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to crush up the cherry. Okay. So I'll let that sit there and soak in the club soda for a minute while I continue with my story. Another really good chapter that really shows you the heart and the leadership that this guy is all about is, it's just 1 second. Thank you, my dear. That's my daughter dropping me off an ice cube for my old fashioned. So, with that being said, another great, like I'm saying, another great chapter is called The Next Great Generation. You heard me tell you that he talked about how he believed that his dad's generation was the great generation. But he had a real prolific experience, I guess is how you want to put it. Something that kind of made him like see things a little differently. He went and visited a bunch of soldiers who were recovering from injuries that they had sustained in combat, and just listening to the men's stories that of what they've experienced, it really hit home to him, made him realize, you know, this is another great generation. Like I said, the book really captures the heart of the author and the narrator, and it really tells you just the kind of leader he was. So I have a true admiration for him. I would love to meet this dude. If he ever wants to come on the show, I'll be more than happy to have him. And then the final chapter, obviously, is the final salute. And you can just, when he's telling and finishing this book out, you can just tell that there's heart in him that he's leaving behind with the Navy and everything, and that it's always going to be ingrained in him and instilled in him, everything that he took from it. I can't express enough, like I said, how much I love the book, and really the Audible is bar none the best way to experience it. Read it along with the Audible. I mean, it's superb. Now, as far as the old fashioned, now it's just a matter of adding the bourbon that you like. Today we're using Blanton's, and I'm going to get criticized by probably bourbon connoisseurs saying, "Oh, you don't need to make a cocktail with Blanton's. Blanton's don't need to be made into a cocktail." I say you're absolutely right. However, I like Blanton's in my cocktail, so get over it. But honestly, any good bourbon will do. You can use Jim Beam, you can use Woodford, it doesn't really matter. Today I'm just using the Blanton's just because that's the bottle that I had open. And then of course you want to finish this off with an orange garnish. So this is something else that I do a little bit different than what other bartenders may or may not do. Alright, so after you cut your peel off of the orange, what I like to do is I like to take the inside of that orange rind, I like to run it around the top of the rim. To me, the old fashioned, the best part of the old fashioned is the beginning and the end. The middle is just good, but the beginning and the end are typically my favorite parts. The reason being is you get the strong citrus orange flavor in the beginning and aroma, and then right there at the end you get a strong cherry flavor, but you get a little bit of both throughout the middle of the drink. So to me it's a great story in itself when you think about it. But anyways, that's my favorite favorite cocktail to drink. This is bar none probably the best book. By the way, it's told as a memoir. It's not like a story where it's a he said, she said. It's really, you can clearly tell it's a guy looking back on his life. It's a great memoir. Strongly recommend to read. If you want to give it stars, give it a 5. You want to give it a grade, give it an A plus times 3. You know what I mean? I really I would go on a press tour myself to sell this book. I mean, that's how much I believe in it. Another really cool thing is I got a cat. My cat's a little interested in it, but he can't quite have that. So places you can buy the book, obviously go to Amazon. You can download it through Audible. But I would like to see people buying it through the Lieutenant Michael Murphy Navy SEAL Museum. Reason being is it's actually going to help a good cause there. Also, you can get the shirt. On the back of this shirt, it's actually a phrase from his book and from the Make Your Bed speech. It's the very last thing he says in Make Your Bed speech is never, ever ring the bell. And I look forward to listening to that part every morning on my way into work. I get so excited on that very last line. It really sets the tone for my day. The book is, like I said, is a great example of a man to live by. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he leads by example of who he is. And if you want to read short books and you're interested in the Make Your Bed speech, but don't want to take 20 minutes and maybe like to read, he actually has books out. Make Your Bed. He also has the Hero Code. Both are really good books, really small books. They're more like self-help. But that's about all I got. Check out the Lieutenant Michael Murphy Navy SEAL Museum online. You can buy those books there. You can buy this shirt there. Not that this has anything to do with it, but if you like Peaky Blinders, Garrison Taylor's, you can buy these kind of hats. That's pretty cool too. If you want to make a little fashion sense, if you feel a little Thomas Shelby in you. But I'm just going to end this with saying, William H. McRaven, no matter where you're at, I hope you see this message. Thank you for your service. Cheers.